Members of the Service Providers Association and suppliers of the National School Nutrition Program in KwaZulu-Natal are calling on the Department of Education to speed up the process of making their payments. Members staged a picket outside departmental offices in Pietermaritzburg. Challenges include delayed payments to service providers and price adjustments. This is ahead of the reopening of schools next week. To take this discussion further, we're now joined via video link by KwaZulu-Natal Department of Education spokesperson Muzi Mahlambi. Muzi, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. So I remember, of course, challenges of this nature last year already. What seems to be the delay in this current situation in terms of making these payments to the service providers, available for the department? I mean, surely this would then ensure a smooth nutritional program in that province.
We want to start by saying there is no crisis at all. And come Tuesday, it's all system go. All 60% service providers that were remaining to be paid this morning were paid. And it's not a coincidence that just because they brought a memorandum, then we pay them, because this was programmed long time ago, coinciding it before the school reopened. Because when you do payments, there's a lot that is involved in terms of processing the payments. But we do acknowledge that at times there are delays that do occur. Sometimes such delays will be the service providers themselves not submitting timelessly, or sometimes it will be a dispute of the signature between themselves and the school principal.
Now, of course, I hear your point saying that it's not a crisis, but I mean, we've been here before. And what we saw last year is that over 2 million children were not given, nutrition that was meant to be delivered to various schools in KwaZulu-Natal, and that was a crisis. So you would appreciate the fear this time around when you are hearing from these service providers saying that they will be picketing outside the Department of Education with only a mere few days to go before the schools open.
They are a bit dramatic. There was no need for them to do the picketing, because we met with them before schools closed, and all that we discussed with them and agreed to do, we have delivered those things. So we were surprised when they said that they wanted to come and deliver a memorandum, and when our doors are open, we always speak to them. So it's a bit dramatic, and we don't want to argue this case over the media, but it's something else that they are inquiring rather than late payments. And even people that you see there in your visuals are not part of the people who were the memorandum. Some of them are unemployed educators that have been camping outside our offices.
All right. So last year, there was an investigation that was conducted by the Department of Education in KwaZulu-Natal in light, of course, of, several schools not receiving the food parcels and the food nutrition program not continuing. We know that over 2.4 million learners were affected. Some of those children were turned back, turned back to go home because of this multi-billion rand tender that was a point of contention. Has that report been conducted and concluded? And what are the key highlights from that report that will then necessitate that when we see a situation that we are seeing now, we will not, in your own words, not be dramatic?
Yeah, let's separate the issues. The issue of a report will be one issue, and the issue of the smooth running of the program is another. Since that time, we have never experienced any problem whatsoever. And that is why we're assuring the citizenry of the province that come Tuesday, there shall be no problem.
And in terms of this particular report that we are speaking of, we do understand it was concluded in terms of the investigation. When will that report be made public?
The report will appreciate that when there is a commission that has been appointed to do an investigation, they will first report to the people that have appointed them. Then after that, then recommendations will then be implemented. So we are not in a position to speak to what then happened to the report.
All right. So, in your own words and assurances, if you're still with us, Muzi, come Tuesday, those issues of payment will be ironed out, and schools will then receive their much-needed food for the children. All right.
The issue of payment is not a crisis because everyone that needed to be paid was paid this morning.